Good morning, class. Welcome to the online classes for physics. In the last classes videos, we have seen that we are going to the chapter mechanical properties of the solid, in which we have seen the different properties of the solid, like we cannot change its size, shape, and the volume, that it is having a definite size and volume. Some materials are considered as plastic materials and some are considered as elastic, that is, they can regain back its original shape when a deforming force is applied on it. And if we talk about the plastic material, that is, even when we are applying the deforming force and it get breakable, or we can say that it can deform very easily. So that is what the deforming force, and restoring force, that is regaining back its original shape, at that force is said to be the restoring force. And after that we have seen that stress and the strain. What we have seen, that stress is a property of the body, that is when a force is applied on a particular per unit area, then that is said to be the stress or the pressure. They are of the same unit and the same dimension because both have the same formula. So stress is a kind of the tension force, so that is force acting per unit area, and that force acting on it can be a deforming force, that is the force whenever it is applied on the body, depending on the structure and the property of the body, it can change its size and the shape. If it is less elastic, it will get deformed and it cannot regain back its original shape. If we talk about the elastic material, then it get regain back to its original size even if the deforming force is removed. Okay. So after that we have seen that strain. What is strain? That is the difference, or we can say that the ratio of the change in any dimension. It can be volume, it can be change in the length, or it can be change in the, or like bending also you can say, then there will be a change in the displacement of the two parallel planes. Like if we are bending something, then we are just changing its position, so there will be some parallel difference between the two planes, that is strain, which is given by theta. So we can say that whenever a deforming force acts on the body undergoes to change its size and the shape. This size and the shape changes, and the ratio of the change in the dimension to that of the original dimension is said to be the strain. And we have seen the different types of the stress also. First one was the tensile stress, second the compressional stress, third one was tangential or the shearing stress. Same shear we will be learning for the strain also, that is shear strain. First one, that is tensile stress. It can be given as a restoring force when it acts on the per unit area of a body when the length of the body increases but in the direction of the deforming force. Like when we are stretching it, we can say when we stretch, the length increases. Similarly, when we compress any body, then the length of the body decreases, that too in the direction of the deforming force. So the any two forces acting on its two ends but in the opposite direction, when we stretch it, then it is considered as a tensile stress. And when we are trying to compress that object, or we are trying to decrease the length of the object, then that deforming force when is applied on the body, it is said to be the compressional stress. Similarly, shearing stress, that is when the tangential or the normal, that is perpendicular force is applied per unit area, and that will produce a change in the shape of the body, as said to be the tangential or the shearing stress. In this book you will see one more, that is the hydrostatic stress, that if the body is subject to that of the deforming force or any kind of the force, then the corresponding stress that is applied on that body on the whole surface, then it is said to be the hydrostatic stress. So we have seen strain, that is the difference or the ratio of the change in the dimension to that of the initial conditions dimension or the original dimension, it is said to be the strain. And the different types we have seen, that is one is longitudinal strain, second one is volumetric, third one is shear strain. So for the longitudinal strain, if it is defined, that is increase in the length when the deforming force is applied on that body, that is said to be the change in the length of the original length, that it will be longitudinal strain. If we talk about the volumetric strain, then the change in the volume when the deforming force is applied on it, then the change in the volume upon the original volume will be taken as the longitudinal strain. Now the volumetric strain, that it is defined as a change in the volume per unit original volume, that is change in the volume upon original volume, it will be given as a volumetric strain. If you talk about the shear strain, then it is similar to that of the shearing stress also, that when the perpendicular force is applied on it, or in the face we are applying the force or the deforming force, then the fixed face gets turned that there will be some bending. It will bend with some angle by the parallel shift, which is given as theta. So shear strain will be defined by the letter theta. And for longitudinal strain, that is change in the length, that is change how much it is changed, it is given by del. And for the original, it is given as normal L. So this will be the longitudinal strain. Similarly, for volume strain, it will be change in the volume for the original volume. Similarly, if we talk about the shear strain, it is given as theta. But if we talk about shear strain, it will be equal to tan theta, because what the body is changed in the direction. Like if we are just rotating in this condition, then it is bending. So how much it is bending? It is bending with the theta. So the force applied on it will be in the tangential condition. So this theta will be similar to that of a tan theta. So theta will be given for the shear strain. After that, we have learned for that the elastic materials, there will be some limit till which it cannot be deformed. After that, the body can be deformed easily. So when the deforming force is applied on any body, then it can change its size and the shape. So if you are having the limit of a body, like if you stretch a rubber, then it gets stretched to a length and again regain back to its original state. But similarly, when we tear a page or we are trying to stretch a clay, then it get break, because the elastic limit of that body is less. So elastic limit will be less. Similarly, if you are talking about the limit of that body, elastic limit, then some substance of the elastic materials will have the less elasticity. Similarly, the plastic materials will have the least elasticity. That is the maximum stress when the body is applied with that, then the body can regain back its original shape, that is the elasticity. But when the external deforming force is removed from there, then also the body is regaining back its original shape, then it is said to be the elastic limit. Okay, so when the body is completely regaining back its original size and shape after the removal of the deforming force also, then it is its elastic limit. So when the deforming force is just more than that of this elastic limit, the body will totally deformed. Like if we are stretching a rubber to an elastic limit, it gets stretched, but more than that, what it will do? It will just break out. So that is the fracture point. That is the point where the body will be permanently deformed, because once the rubber is breaked out, we cannot make that stretching limit once again, that it will cannot regain back to its original shape and the size. So when the body is overstrained or the force applied on that, that is the deforming force, is more than that of the normal elastic limit, then it will be considered as overstrained. Okay, and that beyond the elastic limit, the body will be completely or the permanently will get deformed. Okay, so in some conditions you can even see the example that when we are taking some weight or the load, we are just applying it on the tension with, we know that whenever the load is attached to some thread or a string, then it gets some stress on that, because some weight is acting on that string, then it will be that the load applied on that wire will produce a tension on it, so there will be some extension. So you are applying a stress over that body also. So in many conditions you will be seeing the same thing, like when the load is increased, then also the string will stretch easily, because now we are not entered into the elastic limit. Once the elastic limit is just crossed, what will happen, that the deforming force, that is, it is more than that of the elastic limit, then the body will get break, that it will get permanently deformed. So from there, Young gave a relation that any person, that first Robert Hooke gave the relation, that's why it was named as a Hooke's law. Similarly, the constant was named on the scientist named as Young, so it is given as Young's modulus also. So you will be seeing that what the Hooke's law was. He stated that whenever the extension or the tension provided on any wire, like if there is some wire, and if in this wire we are keeping a load, then we know that mg is in the downward direction and it will give a tension on that wire. So there will be some extension, right? So means you are providing a tangential or tensile stress, that is, there is some extension, you are providing a force on it. So this extension will be directly proportional to that of the load, because how much the load you are providing to that wire or how much load you are attaching to that string, that much the force will be applied on that string. So tension will directly depend or directly proportional 2 on the load applied. So from there he gave the law. So that law was given as the Hooke's law. So Hooke's law can be stated as that the tension or the extension produced in the wire will be directly proportional to that of the load or the weight that is applied on that wire. Okay, similarly after that, Young, that is the scientist, have said that strain is also proportional to that of the stress, right? Because strain is also proportional to the stress and that stress is proportional to the load. So both are directly proportional to each other. So from there he gave the relation that stress is directly proportional to the strain. And what is strain? That is change in its original length and its change in the dimension, like it may be volume, length, or any shear, that is a change in the parallel planes. So what we can say that the change in the dimension upon the original dimension will be given as the strain. So from there he told that within the elastic limit, the stress, that is in the elastic limit, when you are applying the stress, the strain will also increase, that is the change in the dimension will also increase according to the original dimension. So as much load you are adding up to the string, the change in the length and the volume or the theta, any one of the condition will change over there. So stress will increase if the strain is increasing or we are providing the load on that wire, then stress will increase, and if the stress is increasing, then the strain on that wire will also increase. What that means, that the load which is applied on the wire will try to increase the stress. So load is directly proportional to that of the stress. Similarly, if the stress is increased, and strain will also give the same dimensions, that is it will also have been increased along with the stress. So stress is directly proportional to strain. So from there he get the law. So this law was named as the Young's formula, and there we have seen the Hooke's law. Okay, so stress is directly proportional to strain. From there a constant is come, like stress upon strain, because stress is directly proportional to strain, so it will be coming in the denominator, that is stress upon strain will be directly proportional. There is no word, so it will be taken as the constant, right? So it is taken as the constant part. So this stress upon strain is given as a constant, that is taken as y. Now you will see that it is the y. From there we came to know about a term which is given as Young modulus of elasticity. It was named as the proportionality constant as a modulus of elasticity, which was given as the coefficient of elasticity also. So this will be its modulus, because Young has already given, so this modulus was also named as the Young's modulus. So if you take that load, if you are connecting a load to the wire, if you want to check its strain, then just try to see that where the pointer is going. Here if you are seeing the diagram, this will be in your lab also, in the experimental way also we can see this, that when we are just taking a wire and we are just having the load on it, if you are taking a pointer, like if you are taking a scaling, that how much it is taken. So we are considering here that to be a needle that can show you what's the weight. So if you are applying a load, normal 25 grams load you have taken in the initial condition, and the needle maybe it is showing a 10 meter displacement. Now again when you are applying a one more 25 grams, and now it is 50 grams weight is connected, so that needle will come in the down, so displacement will be there. So along with the load we are changing its original dimensions also, so there is some change in the dimension. Now if you just subtract the first one, let us consider the needle is here when the no load is applied on it, or the 5 grams load is there. When you are applying 25, then it will be moved down. Again if you apply the 50, it will move again down. So this change, by subtracting the values of the initial condition and the final condition, we can get the change in the length. And similarly with the original one, that without the load, what is the dimension. So on dividing and taking the ratio of it, we get the strain, and by the strain we can see that how much the load we are applying to it, that much the stress is applied on that strain, and this is beyond the elasticity limit, should not be taken. So this is of a modulus of rigidity or modulus of elasticity. So it is taken as modulus of elasticity, that is the elastic limits till which the body can acquire, right? And if more than that, if you are applying or you are taking a loads on the string, the body will get permanently deformed or it can break, and that point is said to be the fracture point, okay, because the body is getting fractured. Now you have seen the Hooke's law, you have seen the Young's modulus, that is the modulus of elasticity. So what this modulus of elasticity was taken as? The formula you should remember, it is denoted by the letter E if you are talking about the modulus of elasticity as capital E, only modulus of elasticity. If you are taking Young's modulus, then it will be given as Y, because some more modulus are also given. So I am giving you the terms, just remember the denotions because it can be used anywhere in the numericals, because if you see E, then it means the modulus of elasticity. If you are talking about Y, then it is modulus of Young's. So it is Young's modulus. If we talk about E, then it is modulus of elasticity. Okay, so Y and E we already got it, that is the Young's modulus, that is the modulus of elasticity. Similarly, if you talk about the Young's modulus, then it just tells the same, the modulus of elasticity, but along with the length, only in the length. So it is taken as in the length, and we can write this as modulus of elasticity as the formula stress upon strain, because we have seen that stress is directly proportional to strain, and when we take it in the denominator we got a constant, that is stress upon strain equals to constant, and that constant was named as a modulus of elasticity or the coefficient of elasticity. So if we talk about the Newton, that is its unit, then we can write it as because we know that stress is given as Newton per meter square. Similarly, the strain was not unitless, so it was not having any unit in the dimension, so it will be only the Newton per meter square. Okay, so this modulus of elasticity are of different types. First one, modulus of elasticity, we have already seen E, which was taken as stress upon strain. Now there we already learned that the change in the dimension, that is due to the strain that is applied on the body due to the deforming force, are of different types. Like if you're talking about the length, then there is change in the length. If you're talking about the volume, then it is change in the volume along. So the different coefficients will also come, like coefficient of modulus of elasticity will also change. So there are different three modulus. First one was that Young's modulus. Young's modulus. Second one, that is bulk modulus bulk, that is given for the change in the volume. Last one, that is shear modulus, you can say, or the modulus of rigidity. So here it will be taken as the length, it will be taken as a volume, it will be taken as a shape, because we are changing in the shape. So Young's modulus of elasticity will be given as stress upon strain. Every modulus will be given for the stress upon strain only, but if we are talking about the Young's modulus, it will be given as a longitudinal stress upon longitudinal strain. If we are talking about the bulk modulus, it will be given as longitudinal. Instead of that, we will be taking as volume stress upon the volumetric strain. If we are talking about the shear stress, shear modulus, will be giving as shear stress upon shear strain. Okay. So for that, we know that stress will be given as force upon area. For strain, it is change in the length, then it will be del upon L. If we are talking about del V upon V for volume, if we are talking about shear strain, that is del theta upon theta. So Y can be given as force upon area upon del L upon L. So these are the formulas that have been used here. So now you just see a graph also here, that how it is just showing you. This is stress strain curve for a metallic wire. If you're talking about the metal, then there is a simple activity that showing you the stress and the strain graph. Here you can see the different words that have been used. Here the stress is taken in the x-axis and the strain is taken in the x, and the stress is taken in the y-axis. That means if you are just increasing the strain, there must be some increase in the stress also. Or you increasing the stress, there will be change in the strain. So here some points are being noted. See that points and understand what that points are. First thing, when you are applying the stress, then the strain is also increasing. They are just increasing with each other. That is, we can say that this is the proportional point. That is, with the increasing stress, the strain is also increasing rapidly. Now after that, point come B, where the elastic limit is there. We know that whenever we are trying to deform any object, it get regained back to its original limit. That will be in the elastic limit only. So this is the point till where we are applying the stress, and the strain change is also be available there, but till the elastic limit. After that also you are just applying the stress, there will be more and the more strain will be there, so it can be changed, given as overstrained. After that the body is that is the plastic material or the elastic material, because it will become a plastic. If you are moving more than that of the elastic limit, that elastic material will change into the plastic material, so they will be deformed permanently. So that is said to be the point where that more than that the deforming force should not be applied on it. So here what we can say, that at this point B is given as the elastic limit point, that is the point till which the force is applied and the body will have regain back its original shape. After that B, it will be moving from the to the point till the point, because after the elastic limit will try to change into the plastic material, and after that also if you are increasing the stress beyond that plastic region also, now what will happen, that it will get break, or because permanently it will get deformed. So that point is said to be the fracture point. That point is named as a fracture point. So whenever the strength is applied on any object, or the load is given to the object, there is a stress applied on that wire, and due to which there is a change in the strain also, that is change in the length and the original dimension. So this curve shows us that how we are applying the stress, and there is a change in the strain, that is stress is directly proportional to the strain. So it will be obeying the Hooke's law. So from here the graph you can see that the point O to A, it is the point where it is directly proportional. We can say that there is a straight line showing that the stress is directly proportional to that of the strain. Now if we talk about A to B, then that is the stress in the strain graph. It is just moving in the curved position. That means that the stress is not proportional to strain, because the load is already removed, but it regained back to its original shape. That means it is in the elastic limit. So there is some reason till which it is in the elastic limit. So B point is the elastic limit. So greatest elastic limit will be till the point B. Beyond that, if the body is overstrained, then it will be permanently changed into a plastic material. Okay. So after that, if the wire is touched that beyond the elastic limit, so we can say that the increases even for the small change in the stress, there will be a rapid change in the strain. So if when the this load, or you are applying the, or the force, anything you are applying on that body, if it is removed, then it will regain back its original shape. But as it beyond or limit exceed beyond the elastic limit, at that point the body cannot come back to its original size and the shape. Okay, so there will be the permanent deformation or the permanent increase in the length. So the wire may have acquired a permanent set. So this is said to be the permanent set. So the body will be in the permanent set. So after that we have seen that beyond that, if we are taking the point, so further increase in the load beyond the point C, I have seen here the point C is given here. So beyond the point C, there is a large increase in the strain. So the stress will be at the highest point D. So the stress can only at highest point D, not more than that. It is beyond the elastic limit, but not beyond the point D. So it is then the permanent set. After that you cannot be on the range of the stress. So strain will be a large increase, that in the value of the strain. So stress corresponding to the height point D as the highest point. So that if the point after point P, if the force is applied beyond that to point B, the wire is I think we can say that it is not now uniform. So additional strain is also produced over there. And finally the wire or that rubber, anything, that material which you are trying to stretch or provide the stress over that body, or by applying the load on this wire, that will be permanently breaks. And this point where it gets permanently break is said to be the fracture point. So in this reason, in the graph you can see in between the D and the E, that is between the B to E, we can say that it is a fracture point only, because till that the body can be break. But fracture point is on the point E, that is the when we reach the point E, the body cannot be deformed back to its original condition. Now the reason till from the point B to E, it is given as a plastic region, because at this point it will try to make itself in the plastic deformation, because already the body is given a lots of stretch. Since it is elastic, so till the elastic limit it is trying to stretch itself, but beyond that we can say that it will try to make itself a plastic plastic deformation also we can say that it will try to make itself a permanent plastic. So that is a plastic region. But if you talk about elastic region, that is due to, that is in between the B to C. Okay, so different points are shown in the graph. So after this we will be seeing the numericals related to this longitudinal strain, stress strain, and the shear strain, and the volumetric strain, and different modulus like Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and the shear modulus. So different modulus also we will see. So thank you class. In the next class we will be seeing the further topics.